subscribe. You got me mad now.
Oh yeah, that's right. Alright, I gotta turn that for you. Welcome back, Strong Mid Card Podcast. This is Frank flying solo again today. Couldn't get the squad back together, man, but there's a lot of stuff going on that we definitely need to touch on, man. It's just so much. The news lately, like this last month, 2 months has been crazy, man. It's all building up towards October, man, because come October, you got the Fox takeover of SmackDown, or broadcasting of SmackDown. Come on, it's gonna be a takeover of SmackDown. And you also got the AEW launch of their TNT show. I'm guessing now it's Wednesday Night Dynamite, I'm guessing. I believe they're going with the Wednesday night because it's less hectic, especially having with the TNT having the NBA, which it's huge for them. So why cut into the NBA, or why cut into your new project of the bringing back wrestling by conflicting them with each other like that? So yeah, Wednesday night I think is perfect. It works perfectly. Anyways, let's get right into the big news. Heyman and Bischoff are back. So what do you guys think, man? When I first saw this morning, yesterday morning, I'm sorry, I thought to myself, cool. Like my very first instinct for like the first 5 to 10 seconds, I was like, oh, cool. Like that's pretty cool. And then I had to stop and be like, well, what does this mean? Why now? Well, what the hell's going on? You got Eric Bischoff taking over SmackDown. You got Paul Heyman taking over Raw. How much control are they getting exactly? Because we all know Vince McMahon is a huge control freak. A lot of people, including myself and including my friend on the show, Roger, think that they're just pawns. Maybe let's throw them out there. That way, maybe take some heat off of Vince. Vince has been getting a beating the last year. Let's face it, he's been getting a beating from all the podcasts, from all the fans, from other wrestlers, and then the John Moxley thing coming out, and people finding out how kind of out of touch he is. It's not too far-fetched to believe that this is kind of a smokescreen, if you will, or sending these guys out to battle and letting them get shot up, and Vince doesn't take the hit anymore. I wouldn't be surprised. And I mean, we all saw there's a history there of Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon butting heads constantly. Eric Bischoff, well, he'll be the first one to tell you he was just on-air talent. So I mean, now that he's getting some control back, the last time he had control, of course, TNA, and we all know how that ended up. He killed TNA, and now it's just Impact. But anyway, so it's kind of mind-boggling. The Paul Heyman one doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Paul Heyman is still a creative mind. He lives wrestling. He's in touch with what's going on. He's great at building talent, especially younger talent, especially obscure talent that people didn't want anything to do with. I mean, just look at the history that he had in ECW, and then coming into the WWE and the SmackDown 6, of course, we remember. So he has a great history of bringing up people and turning them into stars. Eric Bischoff, on the other hand, doesn't have that great of a history. But if you look at it from a business standpoint, as far as the Fox thing, him going to SmackDown, makes sense. Eric Bischoff is a TV guy. He's I don't know if a great, but he's a very experienced TV guy. I mean, he's had reality shows get put on TV. With the TNA stuff, WCW, obviously he had one hand in the wrestling, one hand into Turner and the Time Warner. So he has experience in that. And yeah, that makes sense. But honestly, this it still kind of boggles my mind, because at the end of the day, it's still kind of going backwards, right? In a way, it's still going back to the past, and it's very, for you football fans out there, this is very Al Davis rehiring Art Shell. There was a point in time where Al Davis just seemed like he was out of touch, out of it, didn't know what was going on. So all he knew was his old days of when the Raiders were flying high, and and who was the coach then? Art Shell. So he brought back Art Shell to a modern day football where it didn't last but a few, not even the whole season, I don't think. I think maybe like 2 or 3 games it was ridiculous. So, you know, Al Davis, Vince McMahon, the stories are kind of parallel right now. It's crazy to say that and think that, but I mean, let's face it, Vince McMahon is 74 years old. XFL is coming in. There's a lot for him to take on, and you know, everybody knows what a workaholic he is, but age, you know, Father Time is still undefeated, man. So maybe on the bright side, let's look at the bright side then. Maybe he is kind of you know, kind of giving up control a little bit. I know that Paul Heyman's always had his ear, and as much as they butted heads, they've also worked together quite well. Eric Bischoff, I think, is one of those guys that Vince McMahon respected his pitbull fucking cobra-like mentality that go straight for the jugular for WWE or to his business and try to take it out. It's just interesting. The Bischoff one is the more interesting one. Let's see where Bischoff, when he talks now, he admits to a lot of mistakes, and then there's some stuff that he tries to, you know, save face from, and yeah, that's understandable. And it just, you know, I know that he's offered up a lot of advice to AEW, and the stuff that he says does make sense. Like the whole, you know, make your wrestling show into a buffet, give everybody a little bit of everything. That makes sense, of course. So I believe he does know what he's talking about. It's going to be interesting, though, to see him back in the fold of things, which brings up another interesting subject. Are they going to be on-air authority figures? Right there, you get your conflict with Paul Heyman. He's the advocate for Brock Lesnar. Unless Brock Lesnar gets traded over to SmackDown and you don't have to deal with that alliance that they'd have, then, I mean, maybe that'll work. But and Bischoff on air, he was a great on-air general manager. Like, I think his time as a general manager for Raw, as much as people booed him, it was one of those kind of like fun boos, because he was a great, at the end of the day, Eric Bischoff always got his comeuppance. He always paid for the shit he was doing, and it looked, obviously and honestly, it looked like he was having a great time. And I think people, you could see that across the screen, that you could tell that he was having fun, and you know, people giving him shit, and him being that authority figure again, and people respect that and they like that. So when they had that those general managers come out, and he came out and he got that huge pop, that was not by mistake. He did a good job as an on-air guy. So let's see how he does being in charge again. At least in the you know, on paper they are in charge. It could be, yeah, like they still have to go through Vince McMahon. I think Paul Heyman is the kind of guy that I think he might just chop that writing team in half. I don't think he likes writers, because I don't think he's got a wrestling mind. You don't need writers. You just gotta kind of let everything flow organically and make more moments be spontaneous. There's no spontaneity in WWE right now. There's nothing cool about WWE right now. Paul Heyman, as the history has shown, he's very he's in touch with what's going on in pop culture and music. He's always said that before too. It's like the two main things. What big movies are there right now? What's big in movies right now? What's big in music? You need to bring that to wrestling and make it cool, make wrestling cool again. Eric Bischoff, he knows how to produce a show, so it's going to be interesting, man. It's 50-50 down the line. If you're negative about it, I understand. If you're positive about it, I understand. And it seems like it's just gearing up for war, man. Like they're getting ready, and can't blame them. AEW is doing their thing. New Japan is doing their thing, and the WWE is not doing good business right now. So they had to do something, I guess. Load up. Which brings up another big thing. Why not Triple H, right? Triple H, John Paul Levesque, or Paul Levesque. John Paul, I think that was his WCW wrestling name or something. Why not Triple H? So according to some reports out there, at first they said he turned it down because he wanted to stay at NXT. And now I'm hearing that he's no longer even going to be anywhere in the main roster. He's solely going to be NXT. If that's true, I am totally behind that, because that's what's going to be AEW's biggest nemesis is NXT. I don't think that the whole WWE thing is, not yet. The first thing you got to take on is NXT, because you pretty much have the same kind of talent on both sides. And that's the real fight, especially if NXT gets the Wednesday spot for Fox Sports. Then now you're talking, because now you have 3 shows against AEW's one show? Is AEW going to make the mistake and try to get 2 shows right away? Are they going to panic? You know, there's a lot of stuff that's gonna come out because the they're gonna throw everything they got. You know, they're the kings of the mountain, so of course. So that's, if Triple H staying on NXT, if it's because of his own choice, or maybe they told him, you know, that's interesting. That's I'm sure we're gonna find out more with, you know, weeks coming ahead. But I'm sure he's happy with just taking over NXT because that's his baby. So I think he's gonna be all right. It's just the two main roster shows. They have to be different. I mean, I think everybody's in agreement with that, is that they have to be different, look different, feel different, sound different. Bischoff and Heyman, I think, agree on that. I've heard interviews with both of them stating that the shows have to look different and feel different if you're going to have 2 different brands, instead of just, you know, the same show except one is highlighted in blue and one's highlighted in red. But you definitely have to get away from that. Heyman already has kind of his hand in a lot of the talent. I think he produced most of course, the Lesnar stuff. Produced, I think, the Goldberg stuff. Produced the Rousey stuff. The Alexa Bliss stuff, I'm hearing he's taking over. And the Aleister Black one. Now, that one, to me, you know, when I saw a couple of the Aleister Black stuff, I was like, why is this so familiar? And then I posted a meme about it on our Instagram page. It's similar to the Raven stuff. When Raven was in ECW, when he was hiding in the Boweries or hiding in the boiler rooms and giving these cryptic, weird promos where he talked about society and, you know, being shunned, and now how he's gonna make everybody pay, and, you know, it just feels very reminiscent of that. So when I heard that he was, you know, doing the Aleister Black stuff, I was like, okay. And he knows how to build a character. So hopefully now that he's in charge, quote unquote, in charge, we'll see some of these guys that been waiting, like just waiting in hanging on, trying to get over. We'll see what happens. High hopes. I'm actually rooting for both of these guys. I like both guys. I love Paul Heyman. I was a big WCW guy in the past. I love Eric Bischoff. I mean, look at it this way, man. Vince McMahon just put in charge of the guy he ripped off, right? I mean, Eric Bischoff was the heel authority guy before Vince did it. Let's be honest. He ripped off that guy, and now he's giving him a job again. So that's pretty cool too. So October can't come sooner, and then apparently these guys aren't going to take over right away. Well, here's the interesting part. They're not going to take over right away. They're going to be slowly transitioned in, and then somebody released an ad or a poster that already had both of them front and center to both the Raw and the SmackDown show. So that's pretty funny. Let's see what happens with that for sure. All right, next topic of the day, which until the last 2 days was the bigger topic, was Seth Rollins getting a little butthurt about people going off about how bad the WWE product is. He went off on Ospreay. I'm sure you guys already read all those tweets. He went off on some wrestling websites, calling everybody nerds and the usual, you know, that fighting back against the fans thing. Interesting that it comes on the heels of one of the lowest drawing Raws with him as champion, and one of the lowest drawing pay-per-views with him as champion and main eventing against, you know, somebody who people don't see worthy of being in a main event. Could he be feeling the pressure of, I guess, being a lame duck champion? Or being a transitional champion? Or maybe, I don't know if he is necessarily, but it kind of feels that way. Like his reign has been very lackluster. I mean, for a lot of people talking shit on Kenny Omega's IWGP reign, and Jay White's reign, and whoever else people were being critical of, this Seth Rollins reign is not very good. Like it's in the numbers. Look at the numbers. Yeah, you can say whatever you want. At the end of the day, if nobody's showing up to your show and nobody's watching, you're putting on a bad product, or you're putting on a product that people don't want to see anymore. And I can see him getting defensive about it. Yeah, he's the guy that's supposed to be in the front, waving the flag, you know, harder and higher than anybody else. You got to respect that. He is the man in WWE right now. But the way he's going about it, he kind of coming off like a baby, like spoiled, like the way he went off on Jon Moxley about taking your ball and going home because you couldn't handle the road or this and that. I mean, dude, he wrote out his contract. You know, he did what he was supposed to do, and then he felt, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to try something else. I mean, he can't be your wingman forever, Seth. He can't be yours and Roman Reigns' wingman forever. He had more personality than both of you, and he wasn't given anything. Like, you can't blame the guy for leaving. And, you know, maybe money wasn't the most important thing. Maybe getting to do his craft was more important than just being the guy who held the belt. You know what I mean? So maybe he saw the writings on the wall. Maybe he knew that the business for WWE was gonna head south because of the writing team or whatever the, you know, kind of crap that's going on now. So you can't really, you know, hate on him, and then you can't hate on Will Ospreay, who's kicking ass around, having a great year. You know, what was your last great match? When was the last great Seth Rollins match? He had a pretty good match with AJ Styles, and then he had that great gauntlet. So you thought shit was going to change then, but now he's just fighting Baron Corbin all the time. Like, sorry, man, you can't go around complaining when that's what you got to defend yourself with. You try to give praise to 205, and that's great. 205 Live are great, but they keep getting thrown in the undercard on the preview, on the pre-show, and not anybody seeing it. So that's what, you know, your company thinks of the 205 Live guys. Come on, like, get it together, dude. I get it, man. You have to wave that flag. I understand, but, you know, don't be a baby about it. Just, you know, be John Cena about this. Be diplomatic. You're making yourself seem like a really like spoiled, like really just throwing a temper tantrum, and it's just, you're not coming off good, and that sucks because I really like Seth Rollins. So there's that, and you know, it is what it is. I'm sure it's going to get worse before it gets better. So yeah, let's see what else we got going on. That's pretty much the two big news topics of the week. And a story that's really, you know, much to do about nothing. At least I think it's much to do about nothing. Tommy Dreamer making the news because he had some kind of murder fantasy. And correct me if I'm wrong, didn't he say the story already? I'm for some reason I'm thinking that he said this story already. So when I first saw this on like was it Cage Side Seats or something like that, I thought to myself, oh, maybe somebody dug up an old interview, because I think I remember him talking about this already. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyways, he had this murder-suicide fantasy in WrestleMania 17 or 18 where he was going to shoot Paul Heyman and then shoot himself. Like, that's, I'm sorry I'm laughing about it, but it just seems so ridiculous that I can't really take him seriously. I know he was in a bad time and a low time, and it's just a thought. For sure, it was just a thought, like just a pipe dream. I don't think he ever really thought about going through with it, but I'm sure he did have. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of guys that are having really, you know, terrible freaking fantasies somewhere. Maybe not as bad as that, but maybe where they just want to go up to one of the officials and punch him in the face, you know. But it's not hard to believe, especially for Tommy Dreamer, who was going through a tough time back then. I remember, I think it was the Sam Roberts podcast where he was talking about how, like, pretty much he had to move back to his parents' house and he had no money and he was on the verge of you know, I guess contemplating suicide or something like that. Anyway, so yeah, but I don't think he was going to go through with it, guys. I think really the story's kind of much to do. I think it got really blown up out of proportion, just because of how ridiculous and how crazy the whole thing seems. So to me, that's a non-news. But you know, a lot of people are talking about it, so I decided to give it my 2 cents on it. Let me know what you guys think about that story, by the way. All right, what else we got here? WWE doing an airing Evolve's 10th anniversary show the same day as Fight for the Fallen AEW, and Kenny Omega going off on Twitter about it, and then deleting it. I wouldn't have deleted it if that's what you really think about it. Like, somehow deleting it makes it worse, dude. Like, he should have just kept it on and then owned it, because the next tweet he did about that, he just said, hey, I said what I said, blah blah blah. I was like, okay, well then keep it up, man. Like, if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel, because honestly a lot of people probably felt like that. Maybe a lot of people didn't. At the end of the day, it's wrestling. This is what Vince McMahon was known for, throwing on little shows while Starrcade was going on, or while, you know, Fall Brawl was going on, or whatever the old shows were for NWA. He does this. He did that. So I mean, that's just something you have to put up with, man. Don't focus on that. Focus on your show. Focus on putting on good matches, and you know, entertaining matches, entertaining cards, and you should be fine. I mean, people are really rabid about AEW right now, so just focus on your crowd. And I mean, honestly, I have no intentions of watching the Evolve show. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, they are, maybe they're core base, but the people that are already going to watch, I'm pretty sure we're going to be the ones that watched it. But people that are going to watch AEW are going to watch AEW, and Fyter Fest coming up if that's great and All Out is great, then you know everybody's gonna be watching your stuff. Just you know, concern yourself with your own product and put it on your best foot forward, of course. And what else, man? I mean, I guess that's pretty much it for this week. I went to the BarWrestling show. Let me talk about that, man. I went to the BarWrestling show, 2-year anniversary show. Got to see Joey Ryan. Got to see Sean Spears, who, by the way, Ty Dillinger, for those of you who don't know. By the way, it just looked like he was having a blast, and just looks like he's loving it, man. He's having so much fun. Nice guy, too. Joey Ryan, always a nice guy. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, 2 really nice dudes. Who else was there? Uptown Andy Brown, Jake Atlas, nice guys all around, man. Getting to see the Lucha Brothers in person was so great, so much fun. Those guys tore the house down, man. If you were there and you heard those chops, oof, phew, there's something about hearing a chop that hard live in a person that just makes your skin crawl. It was so brutal, but such a fun match. And who else was there? The Librarian, of course, was there. Not as the Librarian, actually. David Arquette was there, man, having fun, you know, having some drinks after the match. Yeah, it was just a fun night. If you're in the Southern California area and you have a chance to go see BarWrestling, do so. I put some clips up on the Strong Midcard channel Instagram. If you follow us, it should be in the highlights by now. Yeah, and then let me know if you guys, wherever you're at, if you go to a show, and who was there and what you guys think of it, man. I think I'm gonna be going to more, so you'll probably hear a lot more of me going to these shows. And who else is around here? PCW and Bumps and Bruises and a bunch of other Southern California places. We need to get one here, actually, where I live. Should I start my own wrestling promotion? I don't have any money, so no, that's not gonna happen. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, of course. Also, let me know, pretty good, you know what? Here's a poll. What do you guys think? Do you guys prefer just the audio, or do you guys, you know, want to see our ugly mugs back on the screen again? And I'm not gonna lie to you, man, doing the audio stuff is way faster. So if there's big news like this, I'll probably be doing the audio more. But let me know what you guys want. You know, audio only or video? You know, if you actually want to see us yakking it up. So let me know what you guys think. Like I said, let me know what you guys think about the news or anything else that's going on that I missed and forgot to hit on, or if you disagree with me or if you agree with me, whatever the case. Just make sure you like, subscribe, follow the Instagrams, follow the Twitter, and I'll catch you guys next time. Have a great night. Star Midcard Channel. See you later.